Legend Total War here, and today we're going to be showcasing another battle for Total War Warhammer 3. I am not playing the battle, it's another video. We got developers playing as Khorne, going up against Cathay. It's a major settlement. The main things that I'm going to be focusing on here is the siege rework and also the AI of the siege rework. So with the siege rework, we have much bigger maps, which is great. We've got towers and barricades inside the settlement, which is okay. I don't really care about that much, but it's better than nothing. And now we get to see, is the AI competent at actually utilizing those mechanics, or will it fall on the sword? Now, in terms of the layout of the city, one major design flaw that I've seen here, like the front has no towers defending it. I feel like that should be where there should be 2 towers defending that at least. So yeah, the player is committing about like 70% of his forces to attack here because there's no one defending it. And when he started the battle, the AI has got forces all over the place and committing in areas that aren't being attacked. And from the front, very poor amount of defenses there. Just briefly going over the army roster that we've got here for Khorne. It's there's less variety in it than we've seen in other battle videos, which I think makes the army a lot easier to use, and it does seem to be a pretty good siege army. A lot of really strong melee infantry here, which since it's playing a normal battle difficulty and it's Khorne, I expect it's very effective against this type of thing. Okay, so going over it. We've got a Exalted Bloodthirster here. It's not Scarbrand. We've got a Blood Reaper, I think it is, which I think is a hero, like the Bloodletter hero. We've got just a regular Bloodthirster, a Soul Grinder of Khorne. We've got Skull Crushers of Khorne. Everything's of Khorne. We've got Minotaurs of Khorne, some more Skull Crushers, except these ones here have Bloodletters riding them. These are Exalted Bloodletters here. We've got a Skull Cannon, Spawn of Khorne, so these are Chaos Spawn. We've got 2 units of Khorne Warriors with dual weapons, so they're sort of like Berserkers. And we've got 3 units of Khorne Warriors with Halberds, and then 2 units of Fleshhounds of Khorne. There are some units in here that I don't expect to do a great job in a siege situation that I wouldn't have brought, but obviously they want to showcase the entire thing. This is not... they're not going to cheese it, you know? So I wouldn't have brought the Fleshhounds or the Cavalry, because I guess the Cavalry, once you've opened it up, they could run around a fair bit, but I think Monsters and Melee Infantry probably perform best here. Okay. Well, I've also got army abilities on the side here. This one provides 24 melee attack in a 30-40 meter radius. This one here provides unbreakable and unkillable to a unit for 20 seconds, which... it's okay, not great use of it because it ticks up fairly slowly. And this one here is an explosion spell, which we don't get to see in this battle here because he didn't tick it up enough, which is a bit of a shame because that one's, from what I've seen of other factions, especially Tzinch, the top one is like definitely the go-to one to go for. Alright, so the AI, let's start focusing on what the AI is doing. One thing that I'm noticing is that they are moving around with no real plan in sight. They're obviously trying to react to the player, but they're doing a really bad job of it. Like having 1 unit of melee infantry defending against like the bulk of his forces, and then he's got like loads of melee infantry defending against tiny amounts. He's got missile units, like the AI, missile units that are running away from pinned down infantry. That missile unit there is doing okay. Like, it's actually doing some damage to his Berserkers there. But look, you've got Jezzails here that they have no idea what they're doing. They're trying to shoot, but they don't realize that they don't have a line of sight. This unit here has been caught and is getting run down, and it refuses to commit. They're keeping Skyjunk around Bloodthirsters. Fucking stupid. You had a missile unit that could have been positioned over here ready to shoot them, or it could have been positioned over here to shoot them as they're coming in. So I'm seeing some really, really bad positioning from the AI so far. They're building some towers in the supply points over here, but that one's still got a while to go, so that's probably not going to get done in time. They've started building a barricade there, but it's not going to get done in time. It's too late. This one here got built. I think that they built that at the start. So it's doing a bit of damage. And Khorne's kind of unable to attack it, so you'd have to take that supply point there in order to get rid of it. But yeah, that one there ran away from a fight that it really could have assisted. I really think that the AI should have abandoned the walls pretty much as soon as the siege towers got up on there, because one of the issues with Warhammer 1 and 2 with walls... Again, this fucking unit here is not committing. What the hell? It's dead, alright? You're caught by faster units, you're dead. That crossbow there did a good job. It like took out that exalted bloodthirster. Bloodletter. But yeah, we're seeing the AI sort of being really indecisive, just refuses to commit. Like, come on, look at this. Look, I'm not rooting for the AI to win at all. But I'm seeing, like, really horrible plays here. Really, really bad. Like, they've got anti-large on the walls fighting anti-infantry. And they're running away. Look, you're not going to get away from the Khorne warriors. They're faster than you. And when they run away, you're just going to get shredded. Melee infantry aren't the type of unit that can sort of back away from a fight unless something is giving them some kind of support. Again, this unit here, like, I can get why it's trying to run away, but it hasn't fired a single shot yet. This one here, running away from Minotaurs. Or are those the Chaos Spawn? Yeah, the Chaos Spawn would get wrecked by halberds, and this one here, look at it, it refuses to commit to the fight. That's so bad. This unit here would get wrecked by it, but this one refuses to fight. When units run away like that in melee, they're doing no damage, and the melee defense is like 0, so they're getting eaten up. That's so bad. This one here is running away. I guess that's what it should be doing at that point. Yeah, I'm seeing some really bad plays from the AI here. Just disorganized. Alright, that one there's finally started to shoot at the Bloodthirster. So, good on you for getting 1 or 2 shots off. Oh, wow. What I'm seeing is a bunch of small engagements all over the place that the AI has just not put any thought into these engagements at all. And a lot of their units are just in a constant state of trying to reposition. Sometimes you just don't get perfect positioning, right? That happens to everybody, and you just got to commit to it, right? And what we're seeing here is the AI has positioned really badly, and then they're not committing to it, making the situation even worse. And what we're seeing here is that their first like major victory point is like not defended at all. Not really. There's no one there defending it. You could basically just run straight to the town square because they've overcommitted in some areas and undercommitted in other areas. So yeah, it seems like in fair fight situations, one army versus one army in like really big maps, the AI is really bad. Look, it's docked at the walls there, but it's not actually shooting because they have like a fairly narrow line of sight. So it's like, oh look, dockable areas, but that dockable area is preventing that unit from firing on the unit that's coming at it. So we're seeing a real dog shit fight here, basically. Super one-sided. Now the player, credit to him, he's doing a good job. Yeah. But the AI, holy crap. Really, really bad. And we're seeing Rome 2 level, like, bad AI here. Like, they overcommitted their lord here. Way overcommitted that. They're committing the units that they shouldn't be committing, and they're not committing in the units that should be. Oh, God. I think part of the problem is because the map is so big now, because like in Warhammer 1 and 2, the maps are really small, most of them anyway. So if you're winning in one area, the AI can send reinforcements to that position fairly quickly because the maps are small. But in this situation here, where it takes 3 minutes to run from one side of the map to the other, it's too late. By the time you've started running, it's just far too late to do anything about it. And the AI doesn't seem to be programmed to be aware of that situation. So let me just run a scenario by you. If I was defending this position, the ideal way to defend it, regardless of whether they are coming at you from all different areas or just one location, I would put some units up on the wall only at the start. I'd get them off the wall straight away because it just has... You don't want to be in melee with Khorne, right? You want your missile units to be able to shoot. Choke points are the way to go. If it was possible to hold them back at various choke points, that'd be fine. But there are too many ways in, which would just give more surface area for Khorne to get in. So what you want to do is reduce the number of alleyways that you're fighting in. So I would have run pretty much back to this position here. It doesn't matter about these supply points. I would have been overrun anyway. Just let them fall. Battle's not over. You just don't have the towers there shooting anymore. And maybe you build them to begin with to allow them to shoot while they're running past, and it just does a bit of extra damage. But then you want to hold on to this position here, because this one here has got very few ways into it. You can come around the side here, but it takes a long way to get in there. And if it looks like you're about to get overrun, you can then fall back to this position here. The AI didn't do that. Look at this fucking unit. It refuses to commit to the bloody fight. You're caught in melee with a melee infantry unit, and it keeps running back and forth. Like, make up your bloody mind. It's trying to move. It's trying to run. It's not fighting. This is why his units are not taking any damage in this fight, because Cathay, right here, they are refusing to commit to any of these fights with a lot of their units. Really, really bad plays from the AI here. And it's like I was saying before, you give AI more tools, and in many ways you give it many more ways for which it to fall on its own sword, and it's exactly what it's doing here. I can definitely see ways that these sieges can be cheesed. I don't know for certain because I haven't played it yet, but watching somebody not cheese the AI and the AI just falling so flat, imagine what happens when somebody actually cheeses it. Because, like, imagine if you have stalking units, right? And you put some stalking units around the side here and just jump over, and you catch missile units and just running around like a headless chook. They just don't know where they want to commit. What if you're playing as Reichland and you just put Hellstorm rocket batteries here and just bombard the living crap out of the front area here? What if you're playing a flying heavy army and you just fly around to the various locations and just like all of your flying goon squad just pound down on units that are completely separated. Look, your army, if you want to use an army correctly, you have to use it as a team. And with it spread out like this, you could see it just got totally fucking dismantled by the player here, who used his teamwork quite well. At no point did he have like one unit fighting on its own. Like that there is like the smallest amount of engagement. He's got two units. He had, in most situations, he either had the type advantage, like he had an anti-infantry unit going up against infantry, or he had 3 or 4 units attacking one stronger unit. Like he did a good job. And the AI was like just non-committal, just couldn't commit to any particular fight, constantly running away, taking unnecessary casualties. Really, really bad defensive play. It would have been better for the AI, like, I don't know if this is more fun, but it would have been better for the AI to literally set up at the start at this position here with all of its units and literally just gone AFK. They would have done a better job. They probably still would have lost, but they would have killed more of the army if they just sat back here and literally did nothing. So doing nothing was better than what they did, because at least they had missile units, and they would have had their units that were like stationary, their melee infantry, actually fucking commit to a fight, because their actual programming was working against them here. So yeah, that if they just set up a defensive position here, it would have been better than the AI's play there. I'm just getting frustrated because it was like, the player did a good job, I think. The AI was fucking horrendous, absolutely D-grade. Just gonna rewind the video back a bit because it was the end of it there. We didn't really get to see too much of the army abilities there, which I think is a bit of an issue for Khorne, because Cinch was able to just use so much because he'll have tons of Winds of Magic. But yeah, overall, looking at the Siege Rework, just a bit of an overview, I really like the bigger settlements, okay? It's going to make it better for defenses for the player, but it seems to make it way easier as well for when you're the attacking party, because I could see, like, you could have a sneaking unit go over the walls and run all the way, because they weren't holding the choke points, and there were so many units, like there was nobody at the back there. You could sneak a unit in through here and just capture this point, like with 3 sneaking units, and they're like too busy. It's just taking too long to get back because it's too big. The AI flounders so badly. I think part of the problem here is that as a human being, we can think strategically. The AI has to be given sets of instructions, right? And there are too many things that can go wrong in this situation. And the AI is trying to do everything, and it's doing everything really badly. And what it kind of needs to do is stop trying to do everything badly and try to focus on a few things and do it well. If you're actually looking for a challenge in this game, of course, if you're looking for the AI to just like be brain dead and just roll right over it, then that's cool, because I like winning, that's fine. But I think one of the biggest criticisms for Sieges currently in Warhammer 1 and 2 is that the AI is actually just really bad. Because they just sit there. Now, this is actually worse than just sitting there, because they're falling on their own sword. They had a lot of strength in this battle here, and they wasted it on bad engagements and on pulling out units that couldn't get away. You know, if a melee infantry unit is engaged with a unit that's faster than it, you can't get away. Not unless somebody else comes to support you. You can't get away. You turn your back on that unit of Minotaurs or whatever, or all you're doing is asking to get killed. You know, unless you only have to go back a little bit, but you know, you're having to run back a good long distance, and the AI is just not responding to that stuff very well at all. So yeah, very unfortunate to see that that the AI is performing this badly. Now, things to note is that the game is still in development. Then that's sort of like a standard sort of apologetic response for it. But we're fairly close to the launch point, and AI is probably one of the most difficult things to change and improve upon in a short amount of time. I can't, in all honesty, see that that Creative Assembly are going to improve the defense major settlement AI in time for the launch of Warhammer 3. They might be able to make small tweaks here and there, but, you know, if I was to give it a rating of, like, cleverness, it would be D-. Like, if you had sat them at the back there and just set up correctly and just AFK'd the entire battle, I would have given it, like, a C+, right? You know, I don't expect it to get A+, but D- is pretty, like, that's a fail. Like, I'm giving this, as a grading, a fail of AI behavior. Really, really bad, because they actively worked against their own interests here by just derping around. It's too easy to derp them by the look of it. And again, the player's not even trying to derp them. So yeah, you know, I don't know, some of you guys might like the fact that the AI is going to be brain dead. See, this is why, in a lot of the times, that they need to give the AI, like, huge combat modifiers to make up for this kind of shit. But we know that in Warhammer 3, they're actually losing a lot of their combat modifiers, so that's going to be interesting to see what happens there. But again, I don't know how bad the AI truly is until I actually play it. Who knows? This might have been, like, a really weird situation where the AI was just in the middle of patches, and maybe it was fine. Like, I'm obviously making excuses for it now, but I just don't know, because there is still about 4 months until the game comes out. I just don't know. But this display here, because I can only go off what they give me, right? This display here was very bad. Khorne's forces were a lot better in this than we've seen in other battles, so that was cool. They did do well in melee. These abilities were okay if they were used a bit more. The Bloodthirster was super strong, took out Skyjunk pretty quickly. Now Ying is trying to route and swirling around. It's fine. Yeah. So there's things to like and things to don't like. Basically, I like the layout, I like the mechanics. I think the AI is brain dead, based on what I'm seeing there. It really isn't good. Anyway, I've said enough about this stuff here. I'm curious to know what you guys think of how the AI performed here. I think the player did a good job of using fairly basic sort of rush strategies here, which Khorne is supposed to do. I think he did a good job. And I think the AI did an awful job. If I was to give the player a rating, I'd probably give him a B+ for this battle, you know? No cheese, wasn't expecting it. I think he did a good job. But the AI, yeah, definitely a D-. Terrible behavior from the AI. Just really didn't do a good job. Anyway, that's the end of this one here, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below. I know this came across as a bit of a, oh no, he's shitting on Total War Warhammer 3. Look, every single Total War game has problems with it. And Total War Warhammer 1 and 2, the sieges are the worst, right? And if in Total War Warhammer 3 the sieges are also crap, well, at least there's other things to enjoy in the game, and maybe they'll fix it as time goes on, because at least the foundations are being laid down here. And if we think back to Rome 2, the Rome 2 AI was awful on launch, and it got better over time. So maybe 6 months down the track, who knows? After launch, who knows? I just don't know at this stage. I'll give you more information as time goes on, and if my opinions change, I'll of course let you know. But as a first impression of the Siege Defense AI, fucking awful. Anyway, that's the end of this one. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you next time, fuckers. Bye.